Do you like retro anime?
Yes, but also no.
There are some fantastic titles that you might never have heard of.
And others that really should have been left alone.
Tough, because we're going to cover it all. Father and son, the classics, the obscure, and the forgotten.
The crimes of the anime boom era.
Plenty of all that, all on the Retro Anime Podcast, where we dissect the best and the worst of retro anime from the perspective of someone who grew up with it.
And someone who's never touched it in their life.
Join me, Ian, and my son Lewis on our journey through the retro wilderness. Find us on Twitter at Retro Anime and on all podcast hosting services by searching for Retro Anime Podcast.
I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Jason Stein.
And this is Collateral Cinema. Welcome to a special Mikversary edition of Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420 friendly podcast, so whatever you have, be it dabs, blunts, bongs, or joints, smoke it if you've got it. And welcome once again to our anniversary episode, aka our Mikversary episode. This is what we do every year to celebrate the anniversary of Collateral Cinemas. We sit down, sometimes have a guest come on, and we talk about Takashi Miike movies. And we talked about quite a few of like the really like famous ones, you know, like the real disturbing ones, Audition, Visitor Q, Gozu, Ichi the Killer, and whatnot. And even something as goofy as Happiness of the Katakuris. But this time we are talking about one of his earlier genre works and a movie that honestly I think is amongst his best. And that is, of course, Fudo, The New Generation. And joining us on this particular Mikversary, I'm not sure if we've ever had an actual guest host on our anniversary episodes. We have Jason from the Dads from the Crypt podcast joining us. How are you doing, Jason?
I'm doing excellent. I'm honored to be here for your Mikversary.
Hell
Awesome.
yeah, bro.
Awesome. Yeah. Hell yeah. So just to really quickly... If in case our listeners haven't really familiarized themselves with your podcast, you go ahead and just plug your show real quick.
Yeah, so I host Dads from the Crypt podcast. We are three horror fanatical dads. We started off as a Tales from the Crypt podcast and reviewed all the episodes and interviewed a ton of people who worked on the TV show, in the movies, et cetera, et cetera. But eventually, you run out of episodes to review, and I don't want to just keep doing the same ones. So we've kind of branched out. We do Tales from the Crypt related stuff every once in a while, but we kind of do themes now. So we did Hot Jaws Summer. So we reviewed all of the Jaws movies, and then we did some other shark related movies. And we do all kinds of craziness that, men of the fatherly age will appreciate. Or any genre fan, really, but that's kind of like our wheelhouse. We also do some really cool interviews. We just had one with Alec Gillis, who did effects works. He designed the Graboids and Tremors. He's done a ton of the Alien movies. and all kinds of like Starship Troopers, all kinds of effects work. So that's a really cool interview, especially since he did it like from his office. So he's just walking around pointing to stuff he worked on and kind of explaining it. So he like shows the original concept art for the graboids from Tremors, all the iterations he did.
Fuck yeah.
So that's a really cool one on our YouTube.
That is so awesome because I do love the Tremors franchise. I have the 4-pack with the first 4 movies in my DVD collection down there. And but yeah, that's cool. You do have a great podcast there, and of course we have our co-host Ash here from Collateral Gaming and Collateral Cinema, respectively. How are you doing, man?
Hey, man, it's good. I'm happy to be here for our, what is it? It's season 8, so I guess it would be our 9th anniversary episode or 8th anniversary episode.
Yeah. 8th or 9th, somewhere around there. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been awesome just covering Takashi Miike across his filmography. I mean, the dude's got over 100 films to choose from. So I do feel like, like you said, we've got most of the heavy hitters out of the way. But I was happy to look at something that was from the earlier part of his career. I mean, this is the earliest film we've done so far, right?
I believe, I don't know. I think that Audition and Ichi were already out by this point, and which kind of makes sense. It kind of feels like a little bit of a companion piece to something like Ichi the Killer. But I guess we can go into first initial thoughts here. Jason, what are your first initial thoughts about Fudo, the new generation?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen a handful of Miike movies. This seems like, in a way, it's like a proto Ichi, where it doesn't go full Miike, but the ingredients are definitely there of what that movie and the more hardcore movies will become. Because this is really more just a Yakuza crime drama, but with that Miike craziness kind of sprinkled in. And I don't know if we're going spoilers or whatever, but
we can do spoilers. I mean,
yeah, I didn't quite understand exactly what was happening or why people were doing stuff, but I was always entertained by what they were doing.
Yeah,
he just has such an eye for things, and he's such an imaginative director. So things are just kind of happening. I'm like, okay, I'm rolling with it. This is entertaining. I had to look up a couple of things to figure out who some people were. But again, a lot of that can be lost in translation and or cultural differences, which I love watching foreign films to get a flavor of those things. But so you just need to work a little bit harder sometimes to get the full context.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and this is quite possibly one of the best examples of Miike as a genre filmmaker here, because I mean, Yakuza films are pretty much where he cut his teeth. He had like Shinjuku Triad Society and Blues Harp and Ley Lines and stuff like that. I mean, and a lot of those were a lot more like kind of more straightforward Yakuza movies. They weren't nearly as crazy as this, but I mean, a lot of the craziness of something like this or Ichi the Killer really comes from the fact that he's adapting manga here, and this was a manga that came out. I think it was serialized for a little while, and then the magazine that it was serialized in went under, and it just kind of stopped for a little bit. But I mean, honestly, that just shows how well Miike understands source material. Whenever he's collaborating with his screenwriter and with the person who writes the screenplay, and he does know how to really capture what makes certain manga so visually striking.
Yeah. As far as I know, I don't think he writes most of the screenplays of the films he directs. So usually he's kind of one of those directors where, he just serves that role as the visionary, as the one making the executive decisions. And so, yeah, like you said, Bo, I think he does really well working with established stories and just translating them to the big screen, and with something like this, while you're watching it, you can kind of tell that it's adapting a manga. It kind of has some of those cues, just the absurdity of it, and the way that the fights are shot. But I actually tried to look up information about it, and I couldn't really find much information about the original Fudo manga or either of the two sequels to this film, which weren't directed by Miike.
Yeah, they seem to be kind of lost media in a weird way. It's like, I mean, you would think that it would be on manga decks or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find Ichi the Killer there and whatnot, but I mean, yeah, it's kind of mysterious that, I mean, yeah, we have this great, this awesome Takashi Miike movie, probably the best of his earlier genre works, and like nobody knows anything about the source material. I mean, what the hell?
Right. I thought that was weird. And I kind of wanted to check it out. I would have loved to have seen the manga, but my guess is that it's just never been scanlated.
Probably.
Yeah, especially since it went under. I'm wondering if there's like rights issues or it was just like if there's some other context there. I mean, I would love it if he just like totally bought up all the copies or something like that, or just took them all down so no one could see it. Kind of like Hitchcock did with Psycho when it came out, how he just bought up all the copies so that no one would know the twist.
Right.
I'd like to think that that's something he would do, but given that he's adapted so many other mangas, I think it's probably not.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so.
I think it's, I don't think that it's ever been officially translated, and it doesn't seem that anybody's ever put any interest in fan translating it. So,
which is crazy. I mean, once again, given that this is considered one of Miike's better works, it's like you would think that it would be a little more available.
Yeah.
But I mean, given the. Given some of the more transgressive elements of this particular movie, it does make me very curious as to what the contents of the manga was, because, man, this is actually a pretty gory film. I mean, even by the earlier standards of Miike's work. I mean, there's a lot. This is pretty bloody, even gory. You know, like in a way that I kind of feel even Ichi kind of barely touched a little bit.
I mean, you don't really see like body parts flying, because that's what I think of when I think of Miike, is like, you know, the person getting sliced in half and those kind of things. We don't quite have that here. It's definitely bloody. Like there's a scene where the guy gets poisoned in the car and he just starts puking up buckets of blood. Like, it's so absurd because there's no way a human body could hold that much liquid. But because when one of the other guys opens the door, it's just like a flood of blood comes out, in like hysterical proportions. But you don't really see like anyone getting cut. I guess you see a couple of severed heads.
Yeah, there is definitely some decapitations that occur here, at least a few, and of course you have the acid attack on the girl with the blowjart vagina gun, which we will get to here in a little bit. We're going to get into some of the more transgressive things about this that just makes this so central to a Miike movie.
Yeah,
but it's like, I mean, yeah, there's some pretty brutal. There's some brutal stuff in here that makes me really wonder, you know, what it looked like in the manga. Because if you know anything about the Ichi the Killer manga, the Ichi the Killer manga is way crazier than what even Miike could have like put to film. It's like insane. I'm talking like there's a scene where they're torturing a dude by literally dissecting his penis while it's still attached to him, just flaying it. Jesus. So, I mean, that's the shit that he couldn't show. You know, so it makes me just kind of wonder, was this manga that kind of batshit insane? Because this movie's kind of batshit in its own right.
Yeah, I think
no, it really is.
Yeah, the scene that really got me is when, like, out of nowhere, they're just two classmates sodomizing another one in like an empty pool. I know.
Yeah,
like,
what the fuck was that? And it's one of those things that Miike likes to do in some of those earlier works, which really just shows what a crap sack world the whole, like, anything tangentially related to the Yakuza world is, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of just abject cruelty. There's some parts of this movie that I would dare say is even kind of mean-spirited, you know, like for instance the aforementioned acid attack, you know, or that sodomy scene, you know, or even the scene where the kids are playing soccer with the teacher's head. It's like really, really cruel and mean-spirited, but still just has that real surreal feeling that a Miike movie always has to it.
Yeah,
you know?
and a little bit of dark humor too. Like
Right.
Lots of dark humor. Yeah.
Playing soccer with a severed head will always be funny.
For
Oh,
real.
it always. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's where Eli Roth got the idea of, at the end of Hostel and everything.
It's
like,
2.
yeah, it was Hostel 2 where the kids are playing with the soccer with the severed head. I'm pretty sure that's probably where Eli Roth got that. 'Cause he lifted a lot of stuff off of Miike's movies.
For sure.
Yeah. I could say that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, some of the other weird things, like just the thought of the blow dart vagina gun, the vagina blow dart.
Man,
so
okay,
fun.
yeah. So, like, she's intersex, and I think she has both a penis and a vagina, and her vagina shoots blow darts.
She does. Yeah, which is a talent. I'll give her that. That's a heck of a talent. But I mean, where else are you going to see a Yakuza boss get assassinated by blow dart from the vagina?
Where else?
And I love the way that initial shot is made, because you get that interior shot of the tube and you slightly see the vagina and it goes out and there's like just a little bit of liquid that comes out.
Oh, and then it escalates because she uses it again and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on my period." I'm like, "Oh God."
Yeah, I was about to reference that. Like old boy just blocks it, and then he's just like, ugh. It's like, nice smell.
Nice smell there. I texted Bo that quote today when I was watching the movie.
Yes, you did.
For the first time.
It's like, if there's anything that you could use to describe to people, you know, how crazy Miike movies can get, that's a perfect example right there. Because, you know, I mean, this is a motherfucker that also likes to have a lot of like lactation motifs and everything. So
yeah,
it's within his bailiwick. You know, it's in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, I was texting with a friend of mine who actually, he's the one who like introduced me to like audition and Ichi and everything. So I told him I was gonna do this movie, and he said, "Oh, you mean the one with the vagina dart?" I'm like, "Oh, I haven't seen it yet." He's like, "My bad, I don't want to ruin it for you." I'm like, "It's Miike. I'm expecting that kind of thing."
Right.
Exactly. And the scene where that whole conceit is actually introduced is very interesting. You know, it's this it's like, I guess it's a strip club, but it doesn't look like one. You know, it's this weird, colorful stage, and it's almost like a carnival atmosphere, sort of. You know,
I mean, maybe that's what they are like in the 90s in Japan. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah. This is also a very 90s movie. Like, it has the 90s Japanese aesthetic all over it. Like, especially with the fashion of the teacher, the lady that comes in. Like that is such classic, quintessential 90s, like Tokyo right there. Like, if you know anything about that particular part of the culture at that time, you know, like that was still when the bubble had yet to burst and everything, and you know, but. It's like, yeah, it has that 90s aesthetic all over it that I just really love about Miike movies. Like it, and what's cool is that this was originally going to be another direct-to-video release, but they determined, let's go ahead and release this theatrically. But it still has that grit that he always puts into his work in the direct-to-video world. You know, like that's what gives it a really unique. A unique perspective, or approach, as it were.
The fact that it was filmed as a direct-to-video, like you said, I mean, you can tell that, but the producers thought that the movie was so good that they might as well just put it in the theaters. That's what happened. So, and I think this was I think this was only like his third feature film. In 96.
Yeah, and I think it was only one of it was probably one of the first ones to be featured on the festival circuit as well.
Yeah.
I may be wrong there. But yeah, I mean, I watched it's pretty much like tradition that whenever we do one of these, you have to watch like a interview with Miike himself on the.
I have it on right now.
He gives some of the best interviews when it comes to like supplementals and everything. Like he gives really good interviews about his movie, and on this one, I mean, he was really like talking about how this movie, you know, just basically his whole approach to everything, you know.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
I mean, it is really interesting always to kind of see his side of it, to see like what went into his head, you know, because you're watching this and you're like, well, what the fuck is going on with any of his movies? And then, you know, he explains it and you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, there you go.
And he's very matter of fact about it as well. He's a very matter of fact kind of guy when he's talking about it. Yeah. And he's very, very, you know, upfront about how, you know, how he really honed his craft with the direct-to-DVD movie, the direct-to-video movies that he did, you know, which was a pretty huge market at that time. And like, that's pretty much where he became who he is today. This right here was really when he started to kind of make that shift from direct-to-video to features and everything, and starting to really get some buzz as a filmmaker.
Yeah, I want to say I think this is like one of the first films he ever did that was like a big deal, you know, where he kind of started to get a little bit of mainstream appeal.
Yeah, this might be
definitely.
one of the more accessible movies in a way. Like if you want to see a little bit of his craziness, but not full crazy, this might be a good starter movie for someone.
It was released internationally, so
yeah.
I would argue maybe either this or maybe Shinjuku Triad Society or Deadly Outlaw Rekka, maybe. I mean, those would be good starting points. Or even something a little less crazy like Ley Lines.
I remember the first movie I saw was Ichi of his. And that movie just, with the title screen raising out of the fluids, I was like, okay, this is some shit.
Classic. Classic stuff, man. I love it.
I mean, you got the money shot in the opening sequence, so
yeah. How can you go wrong there? But the opening sequence of this movie is really, really cool. Like we have that assassination sequence in the bathroom that occurs with their dealer and everything. Is like that's this really long protracted scene where he just goes guns akimbo and just starts wrecking this dude, and this dude's like ramming through bathroom stalls and shit, and it's just like holy crap. And then by the end there's just shell casings and blood everywhere. And of course they get their revenge, and that's what kind of sets everything in motion here. You know, but I also like how the first thing that we see is baseball. You know, we see Ricky Fudo and his older brother playing a game of baseball, and then in the next scene, where the first of the four mob bosses are assassinated, is like what is he doing? He's playing baseball. That's basically the title sequence right there. It shows the machinery of the baseball pitching machine and everything, and the fact that this mob boss, he's one of the mob bosses that ordered the hit, that ordered the elder Fudo to make restitution and everything, that led to all the events of this movie. Like he's doing batting practice and he's in a cage. He's literally trapped in a cage with the machinery in motion, basically lobbing balls against him and everything. And what happens next? He ends up being murdered by a couple of kids. You know, he walks into a trap. So from the outright, you already have, you know, the metaphor of the trap that he's in, and then he goes out and he's just murked, you know, mercilessly by children.
Yeah, I like that as a metaphor because again, it shows the hand is just kind of like circling around. So it's like the cycle of the violence that is like, okay, this gang attacks the other gang, and the other gang attacks back and forth until just a war breaks out.
Yeah, it's pretty much much showing that, you know, the machine is running, things are set in motion, and it's just going to keep, you know, cycling balls at you, you know, cycling curveballs and whatnot, you know.
And this fucking bastard decides that the way to resolve all of this is by killing his oldest son, despite the fact that he actually could have just cut off his arm. They said, like, they would have accepted that.
Yeah.
But
they would have accepted his arm, but he was like, nah.
He's willing to kill his own son. That, like,
this'll do it.
That's so fucked up, man.
Yeah, I want to know more about the cultural, like, what if that was a thing that was happening, like where the bosses, the old school bosses were kind of like, actually no, we don't want to go by the old code. We want to, subvert it by sacrificing our younger generation. So I'm curious if that was like a commentary on something else. Now in the version,
it probably is. It's commentary on the older generations kind of eating the young, more or less, in order to stay afloat. It's like, that's kind of relevant even today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I mean, with the whole boomer thing or whatnot. So that's kind of relevant there.
The version I watched didn't have. So at some points there were texts that came up on the screen. Like in the beginning, there was like a little bit of text, and then I think when it showed some of the people, there was a little bit of text. The version I have didn't have translations. Does yours?
Mine either.
No, I didn't.
So I'm very curious.
I have the DVD. I guess I just didn't turn them on.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious what those said. If that gives any more context of what was happening.
That's true.
It might. I would imagine it could be kind of like in Battle Royale where they just kind of announce the deaths. It's just on screen. It's just like this person, is dead. Whatnot. It might be something similar to that.
Well, I think there was a point, like for instance, where I think a character's name flashed up on screen, but I couldn't tell. What that was. But yeah, I know one thing I did notice was that there's a moment in the script where Fudo speaks perfect English, and the reason I knew that he was speaking perfect English to the English substitute teacher, which is really his brother's former girlfriend.
Okay.
Or his late brother's girlfriend.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that.
But the reason I know that he was speaking perfect English is because I saw Japanese subtitles show on the screen. So I was like,
exactly.
In this part of the script, he's actually speaking English to her.
Okay, now I was very confused by the teacher character. I didn't realize that was his dead brother's girlfriend. I must have missed something or whatnot, but I was like, what is the character?
I don't know that they outright state it, but I like they leave enough like context clues in, I guess, because like the way she reacts, and then he says something to her later on, like he loved you more than anything.
Oh,
well,
I couldn't tell who he was talking about. So I went back and went to the Wikipedia.
Well, one of the things, if you notice in those in those scenes in the classroom, is basically how everything is a lot more subtle and a little more a little more understated there, I mean, they can't just outright state what their business is, they have to wait till they're in another place. They have to keep appearances, that's really what the classroom scenes are. It's basically Fudo and his minions just trying to keep up appearances, so that's kind of why it translates that way. At least that's the way that I see it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway,
what do we know what the significance of like those back tattoos were? Like that were red, and then the other woman like only came out when she was like in the shower.
What was that about?
That's supposed to kind of. Well, those were more or less that's traditional Yakuza stuff. They get the back tattoo, and as they get further into their career and everything, they eventually get the full back tattoo.
But why did she have it?
But
why did it only come out?
That's what that's supposed to be. It's because she was a made woman herself. She's Yakuza herself. But I mean, I don't know why it would go invisible. I'm not really sure why. I mean, I guess it's just kind of show that.
Was it just me, or at the end did Ricky also have the tattoo on his back or something?
Well, did he tattoo that himself in his brother's blood?
He did, yeah. He did, and I'm pretty sure that it's the same tattoo that his brother had. I think that there's a scene where his brother's the back tattoo is shown, and then he pretty much has the same one.
Yeah.
I mean, giving yourself a tattoo with your relative's blood is pretty badass. I'll give him that.
I mean, that's
that's pretty fucking hardcore.
pretty
Yeah.
fucking metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even just like
let's
to
talk
do it
about
to
some of
yourself
the
on your back has got to be tough.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm sure that he eventually got somebody else to finish it up for him, but let's talk about some of these other characters, like Big Man.
Love that guy.
What's his name is Izayama or something like that. Like man, he's a great character, man. Like he just. Ayazone. Oh man, he just barrels his way through everyone. Like, I mean, he does not give a fuck. And I love it, man. Like the first time we see him, he's pretty much just dining and dashing, and he's doing it because he can. He's big and strong, and he's gonna fuck up whoever is in his way. It's all because he can, and I just love that about him. And I mean, he pretty much becomes the muscle for Fudo's little gang of the new generation, more or less. He becomes the muscle, and he's also kind of the funniest character in the movie in many respects.
Oh yeah, that guy is my spirit animal. I loved it. He reminded me of like The Rock's character Maui from Moana.
Okay, yeah.
That was the energy I got. But I don't know how he survived the bike exploding. That was a huge explosion.
I know. I was like,
because he's just that badass, man.
That's right.
He's just that badass. I
He's
mean,
a fucking
what
Giga
else?
Chad. That's it. You know, he just shows up, refuses to elaborate.
He has that like cool face mask, but like all of his hair isn't burned or anything.
Yeah, no, that just makes him look even more menacing, you know. But also just that attitude that he has. He's just so nonchalant about everything. Like even when he passes by Fudo, it's just like, oh, what's up with that kid? And then he's told who he is, and he's like, "Oh, I know who he is." And then because he's involved in the Yakuza underworld as well, and he even confronts Ricky like anytime you make a call, people end up dead, like in the local area. Like I mean, you're the one running this shit, aren't you?
Dude straight up is like,
I mean,
you're causing
he's more or
trouble
less
and
just
I want
kinda
in on
trying
it. Based Aizone.
And also, you know,
Exactly. He's like, I want in on this. I want to fuck shit up, and I want to fucking have fun while doing it.
I just love that. That you have this Yakuza boss. Like,
we have an early example of a high schooler.
I was saying,
right.
It's really badass. You have this like high schooler like on his cell phone in the middle of class making Yakuza hits.
Fuck yeah.
Right. Yeah, a little bit of almost anticipated what it's like now, you know, fucking kids on their phones all the time in school and everything, you know. But I love that that's one of those ancient 90s flip phones, man. It's like, dude, I miss those things in some ways, dude.
Yeah, me too.
Like you have to pull the antenna out, and it's like almost 3 feet long and everything. It's like that's some cool old school tech. Like, that's another thing that makes this movie painfully 90s is all the tech throughout. You have that old school Motorola phone. You have that computer lab with all the big CRT monitors and everything, like with the script going down and everything. It's like, it's like this has some old school tech to it that really is kind of nice to see if you grew up during that time.
Yeah, in '96, having a full cell phone was probably really expensive. That wasn't just something like anyone would just walk around with.
No, so I mean that's how you know that he's important. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like and just how brazen it is that he's just kind of sitting there just running his Yakuza gang right in the middle of class. You know, but he, I mean his teacher gives him cover for it though. You know, I mean because she's in.
Well,
on
like I said, you know, she questions him about it. He speaks a full phrase to her in perfect English, and then she just continues on like, okay, you're good.
なんやあのガキ。
あ、ガキとはなんだい。あれはこの中洲一帯を仕切っとる武道組の若頭やぞ。
おう。
おはようございます。
の世の法則体。月の川に浮かぶ死体はお前だ。
Exactly, man. It's just, well, that's pretty much in Miike's bailiwick as well. Like, as we've stated before, he does like to keep his movies multilingual, you know? So it's not that out of place that there would be some English and even some Mandarin or something like that, some other Southeast Asian language in his movies. So, like even different dialects of Japanese, you know, like the Osaka dialect and whatnot. So yeah, that's definitely something that he would do, and it's good to see him just kind of keeping that up.
I was just playing it out because it shows how based Ricky Fudo also is, like him as well. I mean, just being able to just, you know, because he's in English class and he just, you know, recites that perfectly and then goes back to his business. Refuses to elaborate.
Exactly. It's like, I mean, well, hey, English is the language of business, I guess, at least at that time. So, I mean, it makes sense that he would know quite a bit of it.
But, I mean, this dude, I mean, he knows what he's about.
Yeah.
He's a mob boss in high school. And he's driven by his desire for revenge. It's a very anime plot.
Very anime. Like, they even bring his half brother in to be the main assassin that he fights against and everything, and that ends up being really crazy. Like, even has kind of echoes of Ichi there a little bit with the metal rimmed shoes that he had.
Right, I noticed
you
that.
know, kind of an echo of that. Yeah. And yeah, he's mostly like a kick-based martial artist. He's pretty much just doing all kicks.
So he's Sanji.
So it's almost like he's a proto Ichi. Yeah, no, he's Sanji. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he is. But I mean, and I love that he's a kimchi. That he makes kimchi.
Yeah.
And he even, like, there's that one freak out that he has in the restaurant when he tries the other restaurant's kimchi and just like, you call this kimchi? What the fuck is this?
Oh yeah.
like he gets like offended by it and goes in and whoops the shit out of the sous chef over it. It's out of the prep cook and everything. It's like, what the fuck, man?
At first, I thought he was trying to be. Shit. I thought someone was trying to poison him, and he tasted the poison, and he was trying to find the assassin. But then no, he's just offended by the kimchi.
No, because he's just like, no, this you call this kimchi? This isn't even spicy. and he, even when he goes into the school and everything, he has a big old bag of kimchi that he's just eating the whole way, you know. So yeah, that's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, kind of interesting. You know, it's interesting that they made the character a kimchi producer.
Yeah, that's a fun detail I didn't notice. And I watched this technically twice over. I watched it today, and then I went ahead and I put it on again because I had extra time, and I was like, you know, yeah.
That's what I did.
But no, it is cool to see actually, you know, just like the level of attention that Miike puts into all of his shots even.
Yeah, you can definitely see like the cinema mind that he has, the visual minds. Like there's a shot where they're like
absolutely.
When, they look up at the fire system to see if it's going to go off or not, or you know when she looks up to see the balloons of acid. And it's also like there aren't like any wide shots really. It's all very medium and
yeah, that's true. Now that you mention it,
budgetary or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit more about the cinematography of this movie, because that is something that Miike has always really had an excellent grasp on, and he's always had excellent cinematographers working with him, and this movie is no different. I mean, some of my favorite shots, just framing wise, and as far as using motifs to kind of drive the themes forward, are the dinner scenes with the Fudos when they're at that table. Like, we're at the head of the table, and there's just that forced perspective where the fireplace is in the middle, and then there's that red fire wallpaper that's just completely enveloping both sides of the Fudo, both generations of the Fudo family, and it's pretty much like foreshadowing that conflict that's coming up. Like both with Ricky's older brother and his father, and between him and his father. I mean, it pretty much shows that this family was pretty much destined to just tear themselves asunder in some big conflagration of Yakuza bullshit. I mean, it's like this was going to happen one way or the other.
That's interesting now that you point that out.
Yeah, I was definitely, like you were talking about, I definitely was noticing like the wallpaper. It's like all flames and stuff, and it's kind of like dividing them. And then there's like a wheel with different axes, spokes and stuff, and they're kind of like pointing down at them. It's very much a divide.
Yeah. It's like the wheels are turning towards its inevitable conclusion. Yeah, more or less. So yeah, there's lots of visual motif. Like, I mean, going back to like the whole thing with baseball, like the very first thing we see in this movie is a baseball being caught by a hand. Which is, and that whole baseball motif, we talked about it a little earlier with what happens with the death of the first mob boss and everything. But I mean, I kind of feel like that the baseball is meant to kind of tie the familial ties together. Like, I mean, it's a game of catch between brothers that we see firsthand. And that's when the event that eventually leads to his brother's death is pretty much set in motion. Like, I mean, he orders the murder of the assassin that killed his dealer in the bathroom. So and we see the after effects of that when his head is sent to to Caesar, the Yakuza boss. Who himself is the opposing Yakuza boss with the mullet is. He's a really, really cold motherfucker, man. Like, just, he
had like a Val Kilmer look to him.
He does. Like, yeah, he's almost like Japanese Val Kilmer a little bit, right? Kind of, sort of. And I mean, even in that scene where those kids try to assassinate him, I mean, his bodyguard gets in the way, gets blasted, and then he just looks at those kids and he's just like, "Oh, y'all fucked up." It's like, y'all fucked up. And then next scene, they're in garbage bags near a dumpster. So it just really, really shows how cold and calculating this character is, and even all the way up to the end where they go to the Yakuza's main temple and everything, and we have that iconic final shot, which is a cliffhanger. Interestingly enough, this movie ends on a cliffhanger. It's like, I mean, he kind of exudes his own type of cool, like kind of a classic Yakuza boss vibe, just somebody who like he's been slighted and he wants restitution for it, and then that's part of what sets all this in motion.
Right. And I mean, that's really at the heart of it all, it's just, one action, or reaction causing another, like a chain of events. So, I mean, it just shows how good Miike is with these kind of Yakuza stories. I know he actually did a adaptation of the Yakuza video game series.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, right? I don't know. Maybe that needs to be next year's Mikversary, so we can do another collateral gaming collab like we did with
I
Phoenix
was going to
Wright.
suggest that. I was like, maybe that should be our next Mikversary special and make it a collab. Because, I mean, it's just it's a lot of fun. I have watched it, I watched like half of it, and then I ended up having to do something else. Yeah. So. But I mean, yeah, it's a perfect match.
It really is. I mean, and once again, it just goes back to Miike's talent for adaptations. You know, it's like, I mean, the way that he adapted Phoenix Wright, especially now that I'm familiar with the gaming series, it's like that was really spot on. How he kind of got the mood of that game and the courtroom scenes and everything, like almost like to a T.
No,
like, he nailed them.
Jason and I were talking about it before we were recording. While you were restarting, and I was like, yeah, I think Ace Attorney is my personal favorite Miike film, just because of how well he adapted something that I love.
Yeah.
You know, actually, what I would love to see him do, now that I think about it, Don Da Don. I want to see Miike do a Don Da Don live action movie.
Oh man. he would do Don Da Don so much justice. He absolutely would. Like, I mean, he did that as the God's will. You know, I mean, he did.
Yeah.
It really is, man. It's like that would be almost perfect, or even maybe Danganronpa even. Maybe you could adapt that.
Oh my God, Danganronpa would be perfect. Why have I not thought about that? Bo, that's genius.
I know, right? Right? He would be perfect for Danganronpa. Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about with cinematography wise is pretty much how Miike has a great grasp of how to use background and foreground and everything. Like, and the one scene where all the Yakuza elders are getting together to talk to the two twin monks that are kind of at the head of the family and everything. It's like, that's really cool because you see like how, you know, the candles and the people are kind of move around in the shot in the foreground and the background and everything, and that creates such a mood, you know. And also once again he has one character playing twins, you know, not unlike in Ichi the Killer. This time it's the two monks, you know, with the white hair who have the Kung Pao Enter the Fist dub going on. Like that's another thing. Can we say that the dub that this is totally sounds like Kung Pao Enter the Fist, but with a few recognizable anime voices. That's pretty much what it sounded like.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I mean, apparently Miike used mirrors and basically painting the actor's face a different color in different shots to kind of get that whole feeling like there's twins there, you know, on a budget without having to use CG and everything. It was like mirrors and everything. So yeah, he actually that's what was interesting about the budget that he got. They only had like 40 million yen to make this movie, which is pretty standard direct-to-video budget for its time. And it really, really kind of forced him to work within his limitations. And I think that's really what gives this movie its gritty feel and everything. It's that, you know, it's that budget constraint. You know, it's kind of the same thing that makes Evil Dead, which is going to be one of our first movies that we're going to be doing this season. That's what makes Evil Dead such a mood, you know? It's because of the limitations of that they had while making that movie. That's what makes that so much fun, and that's kind of what makes these early Takashi Miike movies a lot of fun to really
100%.
get into. It's actually my favorite period of his career, you know, because I mean he was just basically working on all cylinders and not working with a whole lot.
And you know, it's really awesome to see what kind of art comes out of desperation, you know, like, or you know, lack of resources. You know, it's like when you push productions to their limits, you really see what artists are capable of, you know?
Yeah, in the interview I did with Alec Gillis, he was talking about how you know, he was talking to Ridley Scott about how they did the Alien to help him like prepare to do Aliens. And Ridley Scott was saying, well, in the script, we like want the alien to be like running around and jumping around and grabbing people and throwing them. But once they actually got the costume together, they realized it's too stiff. You're going to break everything, because I actually had like real bones and stuff in the alien suit, which said, okay, we're going to have to figure out a whole other way to do this. And that led to the alien moving in like these other very slow, methodic, otherworldly ways, more ballerina than wild beast. And that really amps up the alien aspect that way it moves.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that. That's
absolutely.
That's cool.
And yeah, that's a great example of that.
No, because it is effective in that movie. Like just the way that the alien moves and everything. It's like. And that movie, the original in particular, really actually feels like a slasher horror movie.
It really does. Another cool example of Miike working within his budget is how he sets up the time skip between what happened with the younger Fudo versus what's happening to the older Fudo. Is they just at the end of the scene, I actually have it on right now. They have the kid kind of slump over, and then they fade him out. And then they just fade the older they fade the older Fudo in. So that's actually a great way to do a time skip in that context, with a low budget. It's like, because it's much more feasible to do that effect than it is to do any other type of CGI or any other type of time skip and whatnot. Like it's
simple and effective. Like it makes it clear with very little budget.
Absolutely, yeah, and also the locations they were at, that is an actual temple that they like. Miike, it's called the Dope Temple or something like that. I don't know what it was called, but Miike was just like, I was actually kind of surprised that they let us do what we did in there. It's like, obviously we couldn't like splatter blood all over the place and everything whenever we did certain shots in there. So it's like a lot of everything other than what was in frame is like just covered in plastic and everything. It's like, those are very, very intricately maintained buildings and whatnot, very meticulously cleaned by the monks and everything. So they didn't want to do a lot of damage and everything, but they just had to cover everything up in plastic whenever they did stuff like that. But that's cool that they were able to do that at an authentic temple and get that whole vibe of it being a Yakuza headquarters. It made for more authenticity.
Yeah. No, it really sells it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that we could go ahead and start getting into final thoughts now. We'll go ahead and get started with you, Jason. Go ahead and give us your final thoughts on Fudo, the new generation.
Yeah, I was not familiar with this, and again, I've really only seen like the greatest hits of Miike, so I'm really that's why I like doing a lot of podcasts. Is like it forces me to watch something that I haven't seen before, and I'm really glad I did. It was very enjoyable, and just the craziness, but also like you said, the kind of low budget early scrappiness was very evident. So I really appreciate that as well. And I'm like kind of itching to watch more of his earlier stuff now. So that's probably the best thing you can say about the movie is makes you want to watch more of what they do.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Absolutely. And there's so many movies to choose from this period of time. I have quite a few of them, you have like Bodyguard Kiba, you have Crow Zero, you have, Shinjuku Triad Society, you have Dead or Alive, which is going to be an upcoming Mikversary. It's like, you have some of his craziest shit came out in this particular period of time. And it's so emblematic of its time. It's so of its time, but it also kind of gives it a timelessness. I know we said that a few times on this show, but that's really what it feels like here.
Yeah.
It's 90s as fuck, but also can still feels very current.
Right.
All right, Ash, how about you? What are your final thoughts?
I think what I liked most about it is that I really actually liked all of the characters. I felt invested in the plot and, what was going on. It's a revenge story. And I feel like revenge stories sometimes are almost kind of playing it safe because, it's easy to do a revenge story and make people care. But I feel like Takashi Miike does it so well that, it works. And, it just shows off some of the best of him, just that over the top gore or just shock value shit. He's got to have some kind of fetish at some point in the movie, but it doesn't feel sexual so much as it feels exploratory. Like we've got to do a movie. We've got to do a scene in a movie with this thing. And that's really all there is to it. It's like, it's just kind of more of like a fascination kind of thing rather than a sexual thing. I don't know.
Well, hey, I mean, we get one of the first sex scenes between an intersex character and a cis character here, so which we barely even talked about.
Yeah,
right.
I
mean,
that scene happened.
Like, I get to choose how I get my pleasure. It's like, okay, that's all in it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually kind of empowering, honestly, I would say. So, yeah.
It kind of is. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a good Miike movie. It's one of the ones that I think I'd like to revisit later. Because I mean, it's not one of the ones that like does something so different and new that Miike's never done before, that we've never seen before. But it's just another like Miike movie that's just very, very solid. And you know, coming so early in his career, that's impressive.
It really is. It really is. It's a culmination of all the work that he's done up to that point, you know, and it's just kind of come together into this one amalgamation of blood, of freaky sex, and of high schoolers, I guess. I don't know. But my final thoughts on this movie, I mean, this is one of those movies that made me really fall in love with Miike back in the day. I mean, of course, Audition was one of the first Miike movies that I bought, Audition and then Ichi the Killer. But this right here, like, this is a perfect companion piece for either one of those movies, honestly. Probably more so Ichi. Because, I mean, it just has that transgressive quality to it. It has the buckets of blood that you expect from some of Miike's earlier Yakuza works. I mean, and it still has that great gritty feel that early Miike had, but it's also so much more cinematic. And this is the first time that we really start to see his movies have a little bit of quality to them, you know, that isn't just, you know, direct to video. Because, I mean, if you look at something like Osaka Tough Guys or Full Metal Yakuza, those are a little rougher than this right here. Like, especially with that, it kind of has that washed out digital quality to it that I kind of like about a lot of the earlier digital camera work in these movies. It's like, for instance, that's what gives Visitor Q its unique look and everything. It's kind of has that digital harshness to it. Like, and this has a little bit of that, but it also has some warmer elements to its cinematography and some warmer elements to its camera work that kind of stand out. You know, it almost feels analog a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, this is just whenever you think of Takashi Miike, this is just one of those movies that should absolutely come up in that conversation, you know, because when everybody just has this preconceived notion about Miike, and this kind of fits all those notions, you know, and I think that's a good thing. You know, this is definitely, like Jason said, a much more accessible way for casual cinema fans to get into Miike's work. Although, I mean, I would say probably Audition is a little more accessible because of it starts off as a love story essentially, and it just kind of builds up into what it becomes.
Audition is a really good entry point, specifically because of the plot reveal.
Yeah, exactly. Because and how it actually builds into that plot reveal and everything.
Exactly.
Like it actually that's what makes it a little easier for casual movie goers to kind of watch it and then get into get a feel for what Miike is about. But I mean, if you want to just get into like the nitty gritty of his Yakuza genre work, I mean, this is a good one to get into. This is a good starting point there. I would say probably more so than Ichi, because I mean, Ichi, Ichi is kind of a lot for some people to take. It's even a much longer movie than a lot of Miike's earlier works. So it's a lot for some people to take in, but this one right here, it has all that craziness and it's not nearly as long and it's not even really nearly as gross as Ichi can be. So yeah, I would say that out of his earlier works, definitely start with this one or start with Ichi. No, don't start with Ichi. Start with Audition. Start with maybe Shinjuku Triad Society. Or maybe if you want something a little more straightforward, maybe like Blues Harp or Ley Lines. But yeah, this is definitely something that, I mean, if you just like Japanese cinema, if you just like crazy transgressive cinema, like this is something that you should definitely find for yourself. It's not really streaming anywhere. Like, I mean, at least not anywhere legit. I mean, I had to find, I had to look around and find a version for y'all to watch that had a dub on it, for crying out loud. But I mean, if you're able to watch this movie, definitely watch it. It's great. It's some of Miike's best.
Hell yeah.
All right. And with that, that is our episode on Fudo, the new generation. Jason, what's coming up next on your podcast?
Yeah, like I said, we just finished up our shark movie summer. We did do Tremors because it's a land shark movie. So we have a great review on that. Coming up next, I think we're still kind of throwing a couple things around. I think we're going to do the Sleepaway Camp series. I haven't talked to my co-host about that, but I'm a huge fan of Sleepaway Camp, and I like the sequels as well. But the first one is one of my all-time favorites.
Fuck yeah!
So I think we might do that.
Hell yeah, I support it.
You should honestly maybe hit us up on that because we do love Sleepaway Camp a lot. We really do.
All right, I'll see what we can figure out. I'm going to torture myself by doing the fourth one. I haven't watched it since it first came out, but
yeah, I feel you there.
Oof.
I'm the same way.
Right on. Now, Ash, what's going on with Collateral Gaming?
Well, we literally just got out our episode. Finally, we're finally catching up. But we just got out our episode on Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Go check that out, our spoiler-free review. And also check out part 1 of our season finale covering the Nintendo Switch 2 release. So part 1 was our Mario Kart World review. And in part 2, which we're going to be recording here in just a couple days, as of the time of recording this, we're going to go over the Nintendo Switch 2 console itself and also kind of rapid-fire review all of the games that have come up that have come out on the console up to now. So stay tuned for that. That'll be wrapping up season 7 of Collateral Gaming. And then season 8, actually, we should be hopefully opening up in September with Fallout 4. And we should have a guest, Mr. Andrew Roscoe, returning for that episode. So stay tuned for that. Also, we'll have our anniversary special out sometime before then, here within the next couple weeks or so, where we're going to do a Let's Play on Four Swords. So just going to try to get 4 of us together. Probably going to need your help on that, Bo. And we'll play some Four Swords.
Okay.
It's going to be awesome.
Excellent. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And as far as Collateral Cinema is concerned, we should have our Fantastic 4 First Steps at the Movies review out by this time. So check that out. And season 9 of Collateral Cinema starts in October. And our season premiere will be Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, a.k.a. Dead Alive. I kick ass for the Lord. That's coming up soon. And also we're going to be doing Evil Dead. So we have a nice little horror double feature for y'all for this spooky season coming up.
Fuck yeah.
And before that, we should be doing an episode looking back on Space Ghost Coast to Coast and checking out the first season of that series, and also a little tribute to George Lowe, who unfortunately passed away earlier this year. So like pretty much almost almost 90% of that cast is gone. There was like 3 people, like him, Crocker, and Andy Merrill. And Andy Merrill's the only one who's alive now. So yeah, we got to pay tribute to that, you know. So that's going to be an upcoming Adult Swim edition. So yeah, join us for season 9. We have all kinds of interesting episodes lined up. I'm starting to get guest hosts lined up. Jason, if you want in on this upcoming season, you're more than welcome. I'll send you an episode list if you're interested.
Always.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
So yeah, look for that coming very soon. And you can find both Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming on all the social media apps, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, and also all the podcast apps. Like you can find us on Good Pods, where you can give us a rating to help us climb up the ranks on the indie podcast list that they have there. And also give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcatcher that you happen to use. I mean, we're on everything from YouTube to Podbean to Good Pods to Spotify. We're on almost everything. So yeah, just look for us there. And yeah, we do have a Buy Me the Coffee. So yeah, give us some money there if you like what we're doing here. We have a Patreon, which we are going to be rebranding here very soon, probably within the next month or so. And we do also have a Dashery store where you can find all kinds of Collateral Cinema merchandise, so like with our logos. And we have a few other designs in the works that we should be trying to get out very soon. So help us out there. Help us keep the things going here and everything. But yeah, that's our episode on Fudo, the New Generation, and that is our Mikversary episode. So anything else to add, guys?
No, I think that's it.
Just want to say you can find Dads from the Crypt on pretty much all the podcaster apps and on most social medias. We mostly do Instagram and Threads. And we're also on TikTok, where actually I'm having a lot of fun posting the old intros from Tales from the Crypt as TikToks there. So those are real fun. So get a little nostalgia.
Hell yeah.
I need to go ahead. And get our TikTok going again.
Oh, you could
our TikTok going again.
You could check out my Gosling and Corn Sweat memes on TikTok. At Ashley C Media. I'm actually I think I can be pretty funny sometimes when a good idea hits.
Yeah. And also coming soon, we should have some Collateral Let's Play coming. I know we've been saying that for a while, but I mean, next time Ash comes down, we should definitely do a Phoenix Wright Wednesday, or maybe even a Beat 'em Up Friday or something like that. I don't know. We'll do something whenever you come back down here, Ash.
Yes.
Let's get something going there.
I kind of just wanted to get through the rest of the seasons of Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming, but yeah, here coming up very soon, yeah, we're going to relaunch Collateral Let's Play. Like you mentioned, Bo, we'll do a Phoenix Wright Wednesday as soon as we can, maybe relaunch Beat 'em Up Fridays. I am retooling Call of Duty Saturdays into Shooter Saturdays so that we can cover a lot more than just one series, which I don't even particularly like. Now we can go across the board and even cover some retro shooters, which I'm excited for. I think we might start with something like GoldenEye or one of the Doom games, honestly. And also, I'd like to start a Metroid Mondays. I think that would be fun. We'll go through not only all of the Metroid games, but we'll also do like speed runs or try out mods or fan games from time to time.
Yes. And also on our YouTube, we do have our short film that was written by Robert Ortegon and starring all of us, Texas Sundown. Find that on our YouTube as well. All right, and with all that said, anything else?
No, I think that is it.
Right. With all that said, I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And I'm Jason Stein from Dads from the Crypt.
And this has been the Collateral Cinema Mikversary episode. Have a good night, y'all. Take care. Out. Collateral Cinema is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and movie clips are owned by the respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.